When we moved to Farmington, there wasn't a lot. All farmland. Where South Winds is, that was all field cattle. And the golf course was a hay field. My husband hauled hay in that field. One good grocery store, Collins and Davis, was the grocery store in Farmington, really. No place to eat, no restaurants. My husband grew up in Farmington, Lena Shelley, and I didn't like federal schools. I wanted my boys in a smaller school. So we decided we would move to Farmington in 1970. My husband was a truck driver. My kids in school in Farmington was so good. We knew all their friends, the teachers, principal. We knew all of them, and it was so much nicer than Fayetteville.
And who were some of their friends?
Oh, Steve Shelley, Greg Oxford, James Lewis, Gary Cooper, Bill Cooper. My other son is Steve Shelley. Danny Absher was a friend of his, and Richard Anderson, and Steve Drain. When we moved to Farmington, we were right almost on 62. We turned off of 170, the road sharp back to the left, and we lived in the first house on the right. We lived there 2 years, and then we bought the house out here. In 72, we moved out here in the country. Oh, the ball games, both my boys played all sports, and I enjoyed all their ball games. I met so many people, and Farmington is a very friendly town. Now, Edna and Roland Davis, Roland and my husband were good fishing buddies, and things like that. We spent about every weekend on Beaver Lake with Gerald and Joanne Lewis and their 3 boys. Worked at Kearney Electric. It's in Fayetteville, down south of Fayetteville. It's, we made it like electrical equipment for high-line wires, high lines, and we worked, 8 hours a day every day, but our biggest thing was a hurricane come into Florida, Texas, the Carolinas, and tear up all their electricity, and we would work to get them back, their lights back on. The department I worked in we made fuse links. But the only thing, more companies made those than we did, and they would order from each company. And the first company that got their equipment, they took it, they canceled the other orders. So we would work sometimes, always 6 days a week, sometimes 7, 10, 12 hours a day. That didn't leave much time for me to do anything. There was a skating rink halfway to Fayetteville, and they did roller skate. That was my husband's big thing when we were young. We skated every time the rink was open. And then go have sleepovers, and they'd camp out. And then we met several people at the ball games. Chester and Lorraine Stevens was one of my favorite. Their boys, well, Wesley played ball. And Reba, their daughter, was cheerleader. And they were good friends. Farmington, it was Farmington Baptist. Now it's Main Street Baptist. Well, the Stevens went there, and now Bonnie Beeks, her son is our pastor, and she was going to another church, and it closed till she started coming to our church, and she's a good member now. And Earl and Virginia Osborne, they are very good friends from the church. She's 89 and he's 96 now. Wanda Spears, Wanda and Russell were at church. They were friends. I was still working, and it started, I think, in the city hall. Now, they didn't have a kitchen, and there's a little restaurant across from Appletown, and at one time they rented that and cooked meals for Farmington, Prairie Grove, and Lincoln. But then Farmington got their own kitchen, and it's good food. In fact, when I retired in 1996, that's when I started going. They were, Virginia Parsley was teaching clog dancing. So I got my shoes and I clogged. I still have them. And there was months back, it's been probably 6 years ago. Tina, the director, and I did most of the cooking. We had breakfast every Saturday morning for a fundraiser. And I enjoy going over there and eating, especially, well, Tuesday we have music, which is good. And Thursday, I like to go, because they play bingo and then pitch. I don't do either one, but in between I visit. Very important. It's, the Meals on Wheels now is really something. I know we had one, Frank Parsley, delivered meals, and he always come back late. And he said, you know, I'm the only person some of these people see and they want to visit. And he said, I just talked to him a little bit. And it's, for a lot of them, you know, that'd be about the only meal. I know a friend of mine, Lena Giles, she got meals, and I would ask her about them. And a lot of times, it would be more than she could eat for lunch, and so she'd have her lunch and dinner meal both. And I always questioned her about the quality, and she said, of course, some meals are better than others, but they're all good. Oh, I think that's very important. I might even someday need them. Collins and Davis, now they sold groceries on credit. They did a big business. Well, I didn't shop there that much, but it was always nice to run in. You need something, just run in and pick it up. But I didn't shop there. I won't charge groceries. I don't, so I just bought them usually in town on my way home from work. Till we moved out here, I didn't know that much about it. Only the problems they had at Halloween, things like that. Well, like DeLance Phillips had a grocery store, and everybody aggravated him. And turning over outhouses. In fact, when we moved to Farmington, it wasn't too long after we were out here, and we went somewhere. And when we got home, we had a outdoor toilet on our walk into the house. The Lewis boys and Paul Giles, they were responsible, but it was funny. And then they put it over on the corner of 170 going into Wolfdale, and had a sign on it, something about Paul Giles. Paul and Lena Giles, there was a big two-story house on 170, and they lived there. And when I first met my husband, they were in Kansas, and him and his mother were living there. It's been torn down and a new big fancy house put there. All the fast food and the big, well, we had a Marvin's grocery store that I liked, and now neighborhood market. We've got a bigger fire department. It's just growing so fast. All the housing additions, you can't, South Winds, that's big. And now some of them, I'm not sure, are out of Farmington, but all around, in fact, it's Clyde Carnes Road, right up goes off 170 up here. I think they're fixing to build about 150 houses just right on top of each other almost, just real close. And I don't know where everybody's coming from. It's a beautiful town with nice people, and you can never go wrong in living in Farmington.